Hi, Catherine. How are you today?
Hey, Vivian, I'm great. How about you?
Fantastic. Thank you again for accepting my invitation for a discussion on, current affairs. So to kind of warm up on our audience, I wanted to remind everyone why we're doing this. We're doing this YK Creative is doing this to help businesses stay visible in current times. It's really easy to fall back and kind of go in the shadows when things are uncertain in the times. So as a digital marketer, I thought it would be really powerful to interview or have conversations with, influencers online and to talk about what they're doing and how they're adjusting, during these crises. So with you, knowing that you are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to healthcare and wellness, I thought this would be a perfect time to have a conversation with you. And with the crisis being about wellness and healthcare, you are the perfect person. So with that said, Catherine, if you could enlighten us with what it is exactly that you do, and if we can get started that way.
Well, thanks, Vivian. It's so good to see you and talk to you. I am Catherine Franzmeier, and I am a healthy living coach. And I work with people to really adopt simpler, more beneficial habits. I work with people to really get off sugar and refined carbohydrates, and just kind of all aspects of life, stress and sleep, and really everything that needs to work synergistically together. I mean, usually when I start working with somebody, the first question I ask them is, how's your sleep? And I know that usually I want to start talking about food, but it really, that's just so important. So, and especially now, it's such a challenging time, and I just am really feeling so grateful that I can just step up and try to, or at least reach people on what they can do at home. We're used to going to the gym and having our routine, and it's stressful when you don't have that, that gym and that structure. But it's being creative and finding something that you can do without leaving your house. And most importantly, scheduling it into your day. People know they need to move more, they know they need to take walks, but really unless it's scheduled and really creating that structure so that you can be most effective with your work and your health and your life. So for example, I wake up at exactly the same time every day, no matter what day it is. And I schedule my first walk of the day at 9 o'clock, like without any, my walk is at 9 o'clock. And then I start the rest of my day. So really, helping people just kind of have that comfort of that structure, knowing that they can just take a walk and that's movement. They can use the stairs and that's movement. And something I've had to challenge myself with, because I tried to go online and buy some exercise equipment like bands and things that I could do, but I just have my stability ball. So I had to get creative. And when I got creative and I found that things were working for me, I was super excited to share it. Right. So here's a thought for people at home can put on exercise videos from YouTube. And if they call for equipment, you may not have dumbbells. Well, you know what? I found my water bottle.
Desperate times, desperate measures. If you want it not enough, you'll make anything happen, right?
It is. It's 9 pounds, and it has a handle, so you can do your biceps, you can do overhead presses. So yeah, just helping people getting creative. If you're going to sit and watch Netflix, stretch while you're doing it. Just always move. And that doesn't mean from your desk to your couch to your bed. It means do lunges down your hallway. Just getting creative and just constantly moving is just so important.
That is so important. Like you said earlier, our whole routine has been disrupted because there was a sense of joy meeting your friends at the gym. They're the familiar faces, the conversation that you can have, the camaraderie, and that's been completely stripped away. And so what do you recommend on finding motivation? Because, we can talk about all the, I'm asking for a friend. Okay. So where do you find the motivation when, you're kind of stuck at home by yourself, right? And when you have sense of anxiety with the unknown, the last thing for me I want to pick up is, a dumbbell or a gallon water. instead I want to pick up a can of soda or, some chocolate chip cookies or something like that. So what can I do, or what can we all do psychologically to get out of this, sense of like, there's nothing I can do type mindset,
Right. Well, I am as everyone else. I don't like working out or exercising by myself. It's really not much fun. The beautiful thing is this technology we have. So there are all these online communities for exercise. Even my gym that closed, our instructors are still doing group classes on Facebook. So I have one of my favorite instructors, and I know when he's going to do a class. So I think it's just finding those communities. For example, I did something, I'm going to do a shout out to Daybreakers yesterday, and they're doing now every Saturday morning, they do a big global dance party. So I just danced with probably, thousands of people from around the world Saturday morning, watching everyone on the screen by myself, right? And it was, thank God I don't even have a dog that can watch me, because it was pretty funny. But I felt it's really important to just find your community online, because they're there. A lot of people are trying to, they're doing happy hours, they're doing exercise hours. So I think being around energy, and even if it's coming through a screen, is very energizing. It's hard to all of a sudden like pull that energy out by yourself and be like, oh, I want to go do some crunches right now. Like, no, I don't want to do that. But then when I put on, I look at somebody on Facebook who's doing a class, I'm like, oh, I really want to jump into this. Like, I'm feeling that energy.
So is that something we could talk about a little bit more later towards the end? If can our audience connect with you to connect with, a broader audience, so we can socialize more and, just be motivated, find that motivation to continue to work out, since our routines have been, disrupted. Well, let's get a little bit more into what you do, right, in helping people improve their health. I know you specialize in, is patients is the right word, or clients with diabetes. Would you like to go over that a little bit more?
Yeah, sure. So I've recently kind of switched, who I'm really serving. I mean, I want to serve as many people as possible, but I really found that I could make a big difference with pre-diabetic and type 2 diabetic older people. I really dial into their blood sugar, their numbers. A lot of them are travelers, business travelers who have a lifetime of, unhealthy habits, eating out a lot, being stressed, being on the road. And I've found that when you're traveling and you're diabetic, you can be healthy, which I've been able to, I want to say reverse, but I know that's kind of a tricky word. Reverse one of my clients, diabetes. He lost over 100 pounds. He's in my case study. So, I just find that anywhere that you are, you can be healthy. But yes, I started working with people that really have a lot of weight to lose, that have a lifetime of habits that they think, healthy is too difficult. I don't know what healthy is. I don't know what healthy means for me. So, yeah.
Because I think, with the advent of coronavirus, it just completely put us in a state where we have to be mindful of our health, right? Not something you can coast and get by with anymore. If you have any sense of your immune system is low or challenged, right, or taxing, then there's that loophole and you can succumb to the virus, right? So diabetes being one, it stresses your body even more.
Right.
So, and with psychological stress, with, everything that we have to deal with financially, socially, mentally, everything, I think it causes us to eat, food that's just more out of convenience, even though, people say, oh, I cook more at home since I am at home. I think it's easier just still to just kind of order out, which I've witnessed people do, in our neighborhood. I mean, people are just, I see so many deliveries of meals.
Yeah.
So with that, and you can't really control, what ingredients are being used in these.
Right.
But that's a whole different conversation. But as far as like ourselves, what we can control is our health. And one of the largest issues with our health in America is diabetes, isn't it? Isn't that one of our biggest problems?
Yes. I mean, diabetes is growing just so exponentially. But I think with that, I need to mention that our biggest issue for every single person is inflammation in our bodies.
Okay. Okay.
And inflammation, right, causes diabetes. It causes anything, if you have a diagnosis with an itis at the end, arthritis, any of those, it really stems from inflammation. Inflammation is caused by diet. It's caused by stress, like you said. But really addressing inflammation by diet is the number one thing. And yes, so any of those where you're stressed and, you know, diabetes falls into that too, just, you have to maintain
Don't you have
whole lifestyle.
Okay. Don't you have some kind of a test kit?
I do have a test kit. So one thing I do with my clients, which is fairly new for me, and it's been really a game changer for my business, is I test them for their omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. And for people that don't understand quite what that means, it's a fatty acid profile. And when your body is inflamed, you tend to have too much omega-6, which tends to be the firemen who are putting out the fire. You know, acute inflammation, you stub your toe, your body heals it, it's inflamed, but it goes away, right? So the omega-3 comes in as the firefighter and puts out the fire, right? So with your diet, which can be very inflammatory, people have higher omega-6 ratios to omega-3 ratios. So you can test that with a home-based test, which is just absolutely brilliant. It's inexpensive. The client can do it at home. They get a report of their ratio, their fatty acid ratios, which really tells you the state of your body with inflammation and your diet. And then I can look at that test report and really dial in their nutrition, and, you know, on top of all the other lifestyle requirements. But really, it's test-based nutrition. And so that's been just phenomenal for me to be able to get their inflammation down. And that's going to help your immune system. It's going to help during these times. Okay. And, you know, so that's.
So then if you can walk me through that again, if you're able to create a balance between your omega-3, is it omega-3 and 6? So the ratio balance, find the right balance between the two, then that will reduce inflammation.
Yes.
And will, you know, create balance throughout your whole body, right? That's okay.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. This is kind of a side note on the omega-6 and 3. So our ancestors who would have, you know, done their thing with their diet, their whole foods diet and seasonal diets, would have had an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 1:1. It's equal, right? So to really be balanced, omega-6 to 3 can actually be a 3:1, and you're considered in balance. I mean, you're in balance, excuse me.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, what do you think the average American is of omega-6 to omega-3? Omega-6 being inflammatory, omega-3 being bringing the fire down.
I don't know, 2:1.
Just pick a number.
2:1, 2, twice.
Yeah. So remember, 3:1 is a balance.
Oh,
so most Americans are 25:1.
Wow.
It's like,
what's causing that? Is it the consumption of sugar, or?
It's sugar, it's industrialized oils, canola oils, seed oils, you know, and when you mentioned having delivery, well, that's the same as eating out, right? They cook it in canola, they cook it really high inflammatory. So it is diet. So Americans are about 25:1. Europe's not far behind, but you can supplement and you can make small habit changes that add up to massive change. That's kind of my tagline: small habits, massive change. Yeah. With your supplements, your diet, your stress, and you can bring that back into balance. And I'd be so happy to work with somebody that if they want to test and they want to know kind of what's going on with the fire burning inside, because chronic inflammation, you may not know. Okay. It may not show up for years and years and years. It could be 20 years down the road, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got some pretty bad arthritis. You're having gastrointestinal issues, and you don't know because it's been burning for so long. So you can find out, and then you can start to adjust, and then you know, just be healthy going forward for the rest of your life. So I love working with people on that. I think it's groundbreaking. I think it's the most important thing that anyone can do for their health.
Okay, well, good to know. So with that, Catherine, how easy is it to work with a client in our current situation with social distancing? Is it something that you can do, you know, online, like a Zoom chat, or is it something where it's more conducive in person? I mean, but that's something you got to do, you know, once this ordinance lifts.
Mhm.
But what are your thoughts on that? Working and you know, applying social distancing.
Mhm. Well, I am almost 100% online based business.
Okay.
And, I have a few clients in town and I love to meet up with my clients. It's like, it really, it's something I really enjoy, but I work over Zoom. I work over the phone. So not much has changed in my business from that standpoint, maybe visibility. So I'm starting to work with building more, ways to market myself online, because that's a challenge in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I easily, people can pick a time on my calendar. I usually onboard people we do a 45-minute transformation call. It's free. See if we're a good fit together. So everything is online. It's on that person's, on their schedule. And so it's the way that things work now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were saying earlier that you've adjusted fairly well, you know, with the social distancing, working virtually.
I think the only challenge for me, because of my personality, is when I am out at the grocery store, out in the park, I strike up conversations with people. I'm just that kind of person. And I will actually start talking about inflammation. I'll walk up and help somebody read a label in the grocery store. Like, can I help you decipher the label? So that's just my personality.
Mm-hmm.
So the social distancing thing for me is like really hard, because I haven't, I can't just go have a chat with somebody. And
you missed that. Well,
I miss it.
You know, we're all hoping that, you know, this will be temporary and
Mm-hmm.
come back to, well, I don't know if it's going to ever come back to the way it used to be, but, you know, when we do return to more socializing in person, you'll be, you know, better improved, right? It'll be an improved, more of a way of living, you know, through what we just went through. Like, we're going to learn from this and then come out better.
That is so important that you say that. It is such, really, that's the message. This is the time to really be in action, because this thing is going to end. And if you're building up, bad habits, or you're really not, I like to call it building. I'm always saying, like, build, you don't have to be building a business, but you're building your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's learning Russian or, whatever. When this thing ends, where do you want to be? Because you don't want to have to catch up again to where you were before. You want to come out of this like, this was a time for me to prepare for this next phase in life. So this is the time. And I don't want to be Pollyanna about it, but this is really time for inflection, self-inflection, reflection, and just,
I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, during any challenging times, there are two outcomes. You can come out better, or you can come out, worse than you started, because you decided to take the easier road, right? Yeah. And you just, what they say, it's not funny, but the quote, and I'm not saying it very lightly, but if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger.
Totally.
But I say that, I'm very sensitive about that, because I know there are people out there, truly sick from this situation. So
of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, great. I thank you for sharing all those tips about working indoors, using what you have to move your body. That's really essential. And connecting, being able to connect with the online community to work out, right? To stay on top of it, creating another online routine, more or less. Yeah. And then, okay, so Catherine, what's the best way to reach you or to find you, so that maybe we can do this test kit? I want to be able to
from
make sure.
Vivian's MacBook Pro.
Excuse me, Alexa.
You are online.
I know.
Well, gosh, I'm
sorry. Alexa wants to talk to me a lot.
Because you're talking, she wants to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram as Catherine Franzmeier. I guess you can put a little note in the video, the spelling of my name. I'm on Facebook. You can find me under Catherine Franzmeier Health and Wellness. But I want to mention real quickly, and this is something I'm really excited to do. Tomorrow I'm going to announce, I'm going to open up 10 spots, free transformation calls, to just have a Q&A, to talk about all things health. But I'm going to open that only to 10 people tomorrow. on Monday.
Okay.
But I wanted to let your viewers know that if they want to secure a spot with me, which I'd be so happy, they can go to Instagram and just send me a message, and I can send a link to my calendar, and they can kind of get in first shot to
Okay, so that would mean April 6th, right? Today's April 5th, Sunday.
yes,
So
yeah.
you're launching it on the 6th.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to open up tomorrow to my community, but I'd be really, I just want your community to know as well.
Absolutely. Most likely this video is going to go up tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So I didn't want to confuse tomorrow being Tuesday.
Sure.
It's going to be on Monday, April 6th. So that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Really good.
I just want to, help people how I can. So
yeah. And that's one of my motivations. Like I said earlier, the goal is to help people create more visibility. It's easy to just kind of sit. It's just natural to kind of get quiet, right? But it's even more imperative to be visible, to connect. And right now is the perfect opportunity to build online communities. So that's what we're doing now. And that's what I'm here to encourage. So again, Catherine, thanks for jumping in on this call. And we're going to have to do this again as it develops, right? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you, everyone. And we'll see you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivian. Take care, everybody.